Hi guys, my name is Karthik and I am from AzureAutomation.com, and welcome to another section of our continuous integration, development and delivery with Azure DevOps course. And in this section we are going to be talking about Azure Repos, and in this video we are going to be talking about an introduction to Azure Repos. Azure Repos is a set of version control tool that you can use to manage your code. Whether your software project is a large or small project, using version control as soon as possible is a good idea. And again, Azure Repos provides support for two types of version control systems in Azure, which is Git and TFVC. So the Git is something that we know it can be a Git enterprise or Git that you're using within your organization. It's exactly the same Git flavor, which is something that you are pretty much used to. And again, Git is something which recently Microsoft acquired, so you can see all the different integration coming in for the favor of Git is also really awesome within Azure DevOps servers. And the next type which is supported is TFVC or Team Foundation Version Control. So if you remember, the Team Foundation Version Control is very classical and it's been used across the companies. Even Microsoft Team are actually using Team Foundation Version Control system for their own internal products, and it is something that you can only use for the private project. So the project that we have created in this course is a public project, so we cannot actually use the TFVC. So if we use that, we are going to be encountering some error or something like that. So rather, we are going to be getting into the Git of the version control systems for this whole course. And also, while you import the code, you can also see there are different kinds of sources. It is going to ask something like Azure Repo Git or Git Enterprise Server, Subversion, Bitbucket, or other Git that you are pretty much familiar with. So you can keep on using any one of the source while importing the code while you are going to perform a release pipeline. And again, don't worry about these things yet. We are going to be talking about that in our next section. But in this section, we are going to be dealing something about Azure Repos a lot. So with Azure Repos, we can do exact same things that we expect to happen with the Git or TFVC on code, such as creating a pull request, linking the work item to the pull request, setting up a branch policy, squash merge pull request, git branch pull request workflow, leaving comments, and vote on changes. So leaving comments and vote on changes are something pretty new to the Git itself, and you can keep on adding some smileys and all those stuff which is introduced in TFS, which was introduced in the build conference early this year. And this is really awesome to see that all these fancy little things are something which community was expecting to happen for a pretty long time now. And linking the commits with the task, we can also do that as well. As you can see, there are some tasks that we created in our previous videos, and you can see that we can also add the link for the task. So for instance, if I have a link for the source code for the particular branch that we are working for this particular sprint, you can link that, and once the code has been completed by the developer and once he is checking in and once it has been approved, you can also see the status of the approved being happened, and you can see who has approved that and all those tiny nitty-gritty details within your links for the development over here. So these are really cool things that we can see within the task, and all these integrations that are happening right now is kind of very seamless, and you can see all these great things happening within Azure DevOps service. So now you can see that the Azure board and Azure Repos are kind of very tightly integrated. Whatever is happening within the code is also something reflected within your boards of all the tasks and work items. And finally, the branch policies. Again, branch policies is something which is there for a pretty long time with the Git, and they have introduced that within the Azure DevOps service as well. So you can create the branch policies by protecting this branch to have require a minimum number of reviewers, and check for linked work items, check for comment resolutions, limit the merge types, and you can also add different kinds of build policies, and you can also have different approval from additional services that if you want. So you can do all sort of jazz in the branch policy for a particular branch that you are working with for that particular sprint, or maybe for that particular feature that you are working with within your code. So let's quickly see everything in action and understand how things work starting our next video.